Hey everybody, the Laying It Down for Camp Bucko fundraiser is still going on. The donations have slowed down, but the hoses have not. This sea can is starting to get filled up. These are the ones I just unloaded from the trailer. Those are the ones that were sitting here since last year. These are all still sitting here from last year. We're looking to get donations rolling in. In addition to those hoses that I just showed you, I still have a picture that I'm going to insert right here of all the fire hoses that are still up in Pickering, Ontario. Thank you to the Toronto Social Housing for donating 95% of these fire hoses, as well as everybody else from Southwestern Ontario and Ontario for donating hoses. But let's get those donations to roll in. The link is posted below. 20 bucks a hose. Let's get some money in. Let's support Camp Bucko. Thanks, guys.
Like and subscribe.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fire Sprinkler Podcast. I'm Chris Logan. On today's episode, we have kind of a different type of guest on. We're going to get away from a little bit of the code and the new product sort of thing. And we're going to talk to a guy who has been making pretty big waves in the social media field. Bluecollarbobby on Instagram is what he goes by. I think are you on TikTok as well?
Yes, I am.
You're on TikTok as well, but you've got how many thousands of followers on Instagram right now?
Instagram's like 2,200 or 2,300.
Okay.
It's growing quick though.
It's growing quick.
It was 200. I had like 200 followers for probably a decade.
Yeah.
I've been posting on Instagram for probably close to a decade now, and mostly just like high school friends and family and whatnot.
Sure.
And then I think the reels game kind of changed it. The reels is what gets you to, I don't know, see other people, and the hashtags get me connected to people that are searching for those similar hashtags. So that's, I think, how I'm roping people in.
Yeah, so we'll get into kind of what you're doing with that first. Let's do a little introduction to who you are. Bluecollarbobby, where are you from, and what do you do?
Born and raised in central Massachusetts. I'm a third generation sprinkler fitter. I learned directly under my father for the first 3 years of my career, which I think was very helpful. I got my license non-union. I worked my way up the ladder, so to speak. And then the union found me, and I jumped with both feet. Local 550 out of Boston.
Right.
And so that's been a good gig now since 2014. Got all good years, been working the whole time. They got me in a van. I'm kind of like a day work guy. I run big jobs here and there, but for the most part, I'm a day work guy. Hospital jobs, when I go in, whatever's in front of me is kind of going to get finished for me to go home.
Oh, right on. So why don't we kind of start by saying what was the big difference between kind of pre 2014 to after 2014 when you joined the local? What was that like?
So the major difference is the job size. So
Okay.
when I was non-union, it was a lot of not smaller jobs. Like we would do a lot of schools, and the schools
Okay.
are only 1 or 2 levels. So my first job in the union was a 20-story. I remember pulling up that first day and just looking up it, and it's got the exterior hoist and the crane. And that was just right then and there was different. And every job, almost every job you go to in Boston, they're big, and they got that exterior hoist where you're on the outside of the building. And then I went to a 40-story, which is right above TD Garden, Avalon.
Okay.
Did the mechanical room. If you're ever there, I was up there in that mechanical room for quite some time. So I'd say the job size was the biggest thing, and the crews. You got much bigger crews, much bigger jobs, faster pace. Card pool. If there's an exterior hoist on a job, the chances of that job having a card pool is very high, which is pretty cool in Boston. So you usually get 1 ticket for $10 or 3 tickets for 20, and it's like a gambling thing. All the guys get in on it, and they pull a card at noon, and winner takes all.
Oh yeah. So what do you mean by the card pool? What is that?
That's
What do you guys do for that?
I'd say that's like a union job site thing. If you got an exterior hoist on the job, usually the elevator guy will run it. It's like on Fridays, they'll get a deck of cards, like a deck of playing cards, usually like multiple cards, and you write your name and your local. And like I said, you get 3 cards for 20 or 1 card for 10. You rip it in half. You put 1 half in the hard hat. And then at lunchtime, someone pulls it, and someone who's walking away with like $2 or $3 grand on a Friday.
So it's like a job site lottery. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's wicked cool.
Oh, okay. Right on.
It brings in the camaraderie, everybody gathers right after lunch to see that card get pulled. It's pretty cool. It's a cool experience.
Yeah. So 550, are you guys 40-hour work weeks? You guys 36? 853 is the local that I'm in, and we're 36-hour work week. You guys 40 hours?
We're 40. Yep.
Yeah. So our guys work, typically they'll work 4 nines.
Oh, really?
Every weekend's every weekend's a 3-day weekend.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
like
cool. A
that.
lot of our guys like that. Now, a lot of service guys, you can do 4 8s and a 4, just for, certain service aspects have to be done on Fridays. They want stuff done on Fridays. They want you in on Fridays, whatever. So some guys will do, 7 to 3 and then until 11 o'clock on Friday, right?
I'd be down with that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty decent in with our wages. You're still getting a good paycheck. You're not missing that 4 hours a lot. A lot of the
Right.
unions, I believe, used to be 36 hours, and then a lot of them gave them up in the negotiations over the years.
Yeah, maybe
Which is
we
a shame.
we should bring that back to 3-day. So I'd work Fridays, I think, and I would take Mondays off.
Yeah, it's all I think it's all negotiable. I think in 853's collective agreement, it's stipulated that's Fridays. But I'm sure you could arrange something,
Because
right?
Fridays aren't Fridays the best day on the job?
Yeah, especially for our guys because they're not there.
Oh,
Fridays
yeah,
are
but
the absolute best days on the job. They're not there.
I think the vibe on the job site is the best on a Friday. So I'd take that Monday off if I could.
Yeah, that's when everybody's bitching about their weekends and shit like that, right? Yeah. That's
Oh,
fair. I'll give you
shit.
that.
That's awesome.
So Blue Collar Bobby, for anybody who doesn't know you, I kind of started coming across your stuff a couple months ago, and that just may have been the way my analytics kind of kicked through on Instagram. But you're posting a ton of stuff on there, and it's basically the day-to-day stuff that you do every day on job sites, correct?
Yeah, for the most part. I guess where it really started is I was in charge of a hospital that we built, a 400,000 square foot state-of-the-art hospital,
So just
major
a
hospital in Boston, and yeah, just a little one. And
Yeah.
at one point there was about 500 bodies on site building this thing. It was hospital work was the only ones going through that thing that we just had in the past when everyone wasn't working. I don't know if I want to say the word. So we were working a lot, and I was looking after about 22 guys and a couple ladies.
Right.
And so my job was a general foreman. I was trying to just document shit. Like we were putting pipes in, testing them, and they were closing it. And I wanted to have pictures and I wanted to have videos of stuff to look back for. And it helped me so much. Hey, what's in that shaft? And I'd be able to scroll through photos. I had like 3,000 photos of this job, videos. So now the job's over and I still got all these videos of this thing. And I'm like, I can stitch them together. And like I posted one today, that's videos from 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the current trending audio,
Yeah.
And people are really digging it. And then we're all kind of tagging each other. I found the guy Sprinkler Life on Instagram. And
He's another Ontario fella.
Yep. And I seen him just sharing, everyone was tagging him. So I started tagging him and he was sharing my stuff. And now it just developed that people are now tagging me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I spoke with I'm blanking on his name, and I'm sure he doesn't want his name getting out there, but I spoke with him about a year ago. We traded stickers, we did a couple giveaway things through the podcast, and I don't know if he's big on getting his actual name and face out there. I think he just wants it all kind of behind the lens kind of thing, which is really cool, really good way of doing it. That's the way I kind of operated for the first say 2-3 years of the podcast, and then video started getting bigger and bigger, and now I started doing like the more video style podcast.
Yeah, I like the videos. I like being able to see you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm sure it's not me specifically you want to see, but I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Sprinkler Life too. I like how he's discreet.
Yeah, he's really good. Like you'd never know, you go to a union meeting or you go to a job site or something like that, and you wouldn't know that it's that guy, right? Which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yep.
We're talking about, speaking of getting to know people, we're talking about possibly doing a meetup here in the near future at a couple of these conferences that are coming up. We don't have any details yet, but if you happen to be going to a certain conference in Orlando, Bonnet Creek in September, there'll be some details possibly being released probably in the next month or so. We should probably get our stuff organized together for as far as getting that set up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I think it'll be, I'd be curious to see, how many people kind of get together, and it expands the reach, right? Whenever I go to these conferences, it kind of blows me away how many people actually pay attention to what we're doing. And even the conversations that I have with other people in the industry about you, a lot of people know you, a lot of people watch your stuff, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new genre of social media within a genre of social media, is the kind of fire protection game, right?
Yeah, well, you see a lot of plumbers out there doing their thing. A lot of electricians, and so I'm scrolling. I'm like, where are all the sprinkler fitters at, man? Like, and
Yeah.
it was just sprinkler life. And
Yeah.
he would share someone, and I would go try to follow that. I would go try to look at their page, and they would be private or whatnot. I'm like, we just need more sprinkler content as a whole. I also went to a trade school, and in the trade school, you had every trade except for fire protection, except for sprinkler.
What do you mean?
So in my trade school, you had, vocational, you had culinary, you had nursing, you had carpentry, electrical,
Okay.
automotive, plumbing, HVAC. You actually had auto body. There's no
Really?
sprinklers. There was no sprinklers. Obviously my father sent me to the plumbing shop. In the plumbing shop, I learned fitting allowances, and I learned how to thread pipe and pull wrenches. I learned how to solder really good. We would build a house every year. So the carpenters would do their thing. The electrical class would go. It was a big team effort through the whole vocational school. Every year we'd build a house,
And then you would sell it and that would pay for your tuition?
and they would sell it, and the school would get the money. It was a discounted house. But man, I learned a lot doing that.
Yeah. Well, and that's
You
like, I
got like
mean,
job site experience almost.
yeah, the thing, like, I mean, I obviously you're talking to two sprinkler fitters and people in the sprinkler industry here. So obviously we're going to say sprinkler is the king of trades, but you can still learn a lot from the other trades out there. Like we were just on a job site. We were hoisting in a 1200 gallon foam tank. And we had a plan for getting it in. But we utilized the iron workers, the pipe fitters on site. Everybody kind of came together to get this thing in because we were the tank came in a little bit late, and we had to get it through a man door that was half an inch bigger than the tank itself, right? So, I have no problems with working with other people, because there's nobody in sprinkler knows it all, right? You get a lot of really, really smart sprinkler fitters out there, and designers and engineers, et cetera, but nobody knows it all. Everybody's got a difference of opinion. And that's why, you say there's not a lot of people in fire protection that are doing social media stuff. And that's because nobody in this industry wants to be wrong. It's a very proud trade. That was the hardest thing when I started the podcast, was getting people from the fitting side willing to come on and talk job sites, talk project management, talk projects that they were on, because nobody wants to be proved wrong and have a recording of it. Right.
Right.
I go on these, this will be episode 97 or something like that, and I'm wrong. And there's probably 2 or 3 things that I talk completely wrong in every single episode that I do. And I got no problem with it, because that's how you learn, right?
That's it. And well, a lot of times if you make a mistake, your followers are definitely going to call you out on it because they're looking for it.
1,000%. Yeah.
And it keeps you in line, keeps you in
Yep.
line. And it makes you, if you're trying to record yourself in post, it really is making you do better work, because they're going to be like, where's the hanger? Or,
Yeah.
like I use adjustable drops a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Which kind of adjustable drops? They screw out?
Yeah. So
Yep.
you basically can, plus or minus 2 inches almost.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if I'm going in for day work and I got to go pipe 4 heads, I can go with my nipple tray, a couple 1-foot nipples, a bag of elbows, and a bunch of adjustable drops. And I don't even really need the machine or to thread anything.
Wow, really?
So,
That's
but
cool.
when I post videos of those, there's about 50% of people that are bothered that I'm using them. It's like, hey, whatever. They're easy, and it gets the job done without pulling Ralph out of the van.
And there's always a different way of doing things. Everybody thinks that, the way, and I was the same way back in back when when I was still more on tools. I'm off the tools most of the time now. I would say 95% of my time is office designing, estimating, stuff like that. But when I was on the tools, I'm a big supporter of companies now that are creating new products. I see the Victaulic hat in the background. When flex drops were very popular, I was dead set against flex drops.
Got my flex drop pen.
Yeah,
From
they
from
got a
buddy
lot of really
Chris.
cool stuff there.
That is cool.
Yeah, Chris Kavistad, he was a guest on the podcast. I can't remember which number it was, but that was probably back in 2019. Chris and Susan Sherwagon from Victaulic there were on the podcast. They brought me down to Pennsylvania, did a tour of the facility. Hopefully you guys can get that same kind of
That's
opportunity. It's a
that's pretty cool, man. I'd be down for something like that.
yeah,
He's
it's a
yeah, he was
way
great.
closer trip for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris is an awesome
where
dude.
Pennsylvania you said?
Yeah, Easton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a few hour drive.
Yeah, it's about 9 for me. So it was a good. Got on a plane. It was like the plane goes up, plane goes down, and you're there.
Huh,
Right,
that's
fly out
good.
of
Yeah.
Detroit. Yeah, um, yeah, it was pretty cool. And actually, like Pennsylvania has a lot of fire protection manufacturers, all in that same area, all within like a 1 hour drive. You've got the Victaulic headquarters, you've got General Air Products, you've got AGF Manufacturing. They're all kind of situated within the same, 20 kilometer or miles.
That's
I
cool.
guess.
Competition,
Yeah.
keep them close.
They all work together.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to, right?
Yeah. Well, General Air and AGF they work together really good. I don't think they do a lot of stuff with Victaulic. They do a lot of stuff with Viking and Reliable, though, I know.
My favorite compressors, those General Air compressors.
Yeah, residential tanks and pumps too. They got a great residential tank and pump that we use. We use quite a bit of. We do a fair amount of 13D stuff, and those you plop them into place, wire them up, and they flow.
Just
They're great.
good to go for years and years. Love them.
Yeah, and they're pretty cost effective too, as far as bringing a new water line in or something like that. It's a really really good solution.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
three I don't know, 50-gallon ones, maybe 20 gallons. I forget what they are. Nice little size one at the hospital I was
The air
just talking about.
compressors.
Yeah,
Yep.
the air compressors.
Yep. Yeah, and actually they got I'm supposed to be doing a podcast with them too. They got a new product, Viper Shield. That's a new corrosion resistance product that they got coming out. It's already
Yeah,
out now. If
it's
it's
going
not out,
in the
not out
pipe.
yet, then I'm gonna have to edit this out. But yeah, it's like a it's a chemical that they inject into the piping. I think it's for wet systems.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm talking out now, so I don't even know what it is. I'll have to double check because
Yeah, I love learning about all the new stuff and like the changes that are coming to the NFPA 241 plan are going to be big in Boston.
yeah, so actually we had a conversation about what you guys do for temporary standpipe. And it was kind of an off the cuff comment that you made, which sent me off the deep end with being a volunteer firefighter. I went off the deep end of this is a really good idea. Why is this not in NFPA 14? Why is this not in 241? I think is the
NFPA 241, yeah.
yeah,
It's
241 is the buildings under construction.
safeguarding, yeah, building
Yeah,
under construction.
basically.
Basically.
So what you guys are doing is actually going to be included in the next edition of NFPA 14 for temporary standpipe in buildings under construction. And then 241, it's going to be a slightly different one, but they're eventually going to be kind of bringing them together to have the same thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be something new because like when I did it, you're up on the floor with the iron workers. Like it says iron worker only, it's just there's no concrete. You're standing on the pan.
Yeah.
And you got to bring the standpipe up to the floor under the iron worker so they can go up to the next level. And no one else is you have to have the standpipe a floor below where they're swinging steel.
Yep, that's a 241 requirement. The floor below under construction.
So it's got a little bit more of a dangerous aspect to it, but it's cool being up there, seeing a part of the jobs that you usually don't get to see.
Yeah, so walk through that requirement because we had the conversation. It was a quick conversation. I was on the way to a job site. You were on the way home, so we kind of it was kind of quick. I went off the deep end after my service call. But basically, what it is it's your temporary standpipe system goes to an FDC. It's not constantly full of water. It's not connected to a water source, but it does have a temporary air supply on there so that the fire department can see visually on a gauge that there is positive pressure on the standpipe system so that they know there's not open ends. You don't have caps missing, no valves opening, anything like that, right?
Yeah, you hit it right on nail on the head. United makes what we use is they call it the standpipe pack. And it comes with an alarm valve, it comes with a horn, a strobe, high and low pressure, comes with the compressor on there, the air dryer, and you put that usually like in a little plywood doghouse that the carpenters will build you, and you run a lot of the companies want to try to put the permanent standpipe in the permanent location.
Sure.
And then run temporary pipe, and then you don't have to do it twice. In our circumstance, we ran a temporary trunk up the trash chute. And it was all temporary light wall. bulk pipe, drill the mechanical T where you need it. You have to have a BFD fire hose valve, big red sign, 2 foot by 2 foot sign with I want to say 4-inch lettering. There's like a lettering requirement.
Yeah, there's size of lettering, I think. Yeah.
So then at the street, you want to have a quick drain. You want to have a gauge so they can visually see that it's got pressure in it. I say just hook up and pump it. I mean, the air's not going to really skip the drain, just pump it. But you get the
Yeah,
quick
it'll be done
drain,
by the time you get there.
put a 2-inch ball valve right there and you keep it one floor below the ironworkers.
So now, does somebody from your local or somebody in the sprinkler industry go around to the different firehouses and do the training on dumping that quick air? I'm assuming the air compressor isn't able to keep up to it after you pump water into it anyways. But is there some sort of training that the Boston Fire Department goes through for using this temporary standpipe? Do they ever come on site and inspect the systems as well?
Yeah, they're very involved. And also something I left out is there's another sign that goes on the street that has instructions.
Oh, okay. So it's got
Has
like
like a
operation
like a
instructions
10
regardless.
step what to do,
Yeah.
but they are very involved. They're there during commissioning, watching the flow meters. There'll be a fireman at every flow meter, usually the chief. He's looking at it. He knows what he's looking for.
Yep.
They're listening to the chatter that we're given on the radios and seeing if anything's going wrong. They're very involved. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that at all.
No, I
The
love it.
problems you run into is when you get guys from building departments, fire departments, et cetera, that are asking questions in front of customers. I'm all for learning and I'm all for providing education to fire departments and building departments and everything like that. But when you get questions that are being asked that aren't related to the project, it can kind of confuse customers, especially if they're all CC'd in a group email. Oh, how come you're doing this? How about, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? How come you're selling them this instead of this? Well, because that doesn't meet the minimum requirements of NFPA 13. Flip the book a couple times before you.
Yeah, you
Pipe.
should be. You got to be up to speed. You got to know what you're talking about. They'll hit you with questions. They'll hit you with some
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
We have towns out here that actually I just dealt with on Friday, Danvers, Massachusetts, where I drained just one zone, one
Yep.
floor, one zone. I was draining it for like less than 4 hours and required fire detail on site to drain the sprinklers. Couldn't drain it till he got there.
Really?
Yep. 4-hour minimum.
For the fire department to be on site on standby.
Yep, just to drain if you have to just drain anything, you're changing one head, you gotta move one line, you're draining the sprinkler system for 15 minutes, fireman on site.
Really?
Yeah, man. And that's
Oh,
that's
wow.
2 towns now because I did it in Newton Wellesley and in Danvers now. And I'm like,
Wow.
wait,
So
what? They're like, oh yeah, we need a fire detail for you to drain this in case anything happens. I'm like, oh, that's new.
now what happens if emergency service call comes up? Well, they're going to probably respond if it's an emergency where something trips out.
He's there. He's there on a detail, like in his
So fire
personal
watch.
vehicle. It's a fire
Oh,
watch.
okay. So he's fire watch.
He's a fire watch, but it's fireman.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's kind of a way to target the industry, kind of corner that aspect of it. Like typically for Firewatch, it's just, if we're doing Firewatch, if it's a smaller area, like an office building or something like that, I'm the Firewatch while I'm draining the system. We're going to keep an eye out and make sure that, there's no smoke, right?
Yeah,
Once an
right.
hour checklist.
That's it.
Yeah.
And there's other stipulations, like if the shutdown's over 8 hours, it requires a fire watch, which normally we're under 8 hours.
Yeah. Yep. Notify the fire department when you're draining and filling. Notify the insurance company if the system's going to be drained or isolated for more than 8 hours. Little things like that are the requirements around here.
Yeah, same. Those are the same. I like that BFD's involved.
It's good to see the fire departments involved. I'm starting to see it more and more in some of the larger areas around here, and even getting a lot of the fire departments around here reaching out with fire protection questions, not just on sites that I'm on, but other sites. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And as long as it's not completely out to lunch, I'll comment on it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, what they're doing is not, it's not what I do, but it's not outside of what's minimum requirements of NFPA. So yeah, it's not what I normally do, but it's acceptable. So yeah, call me on the next one.
We're talking about social media. Another thing that I think really helped grow is I respond to every single DM. So like I really if any fireman's out there wants to reach out with a question, I'm always open.
Yeah, I get calls now from fire departments and building officials kind of all over North America now, which is I love it. the phone's ringing throughout the week. Just a quick, hey, what do you think of this? Is this legit? Yeah, absolutely. This is good. No, you should probably ask this question, this question, this question. If they don't have an answer for it, then have them make a change.
Right.
But it's good because the thing that's kind of super annoying from the fire department standpoint is the fire department's expected to know everything about everything. When it comes to like fire prevention officers, building officials, stuff like that, they have to know everything about everything. But you can't know everything about everything.
No.
There's guys like nobody knows everything about fire protection. There's some really, really, really smart guys in this industry, but they don't know everything. The good guys know where to look, which is what you need in this industry. You have to know where to look. You don't know it all, you know where to look.
That's it.
Right?
I don't know everything. So I'm telling people to reach out to me. Even just recently, someone reached out to me. I couldn't find an answer in the book. I had to call you.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
that's the stuff like
if
that.
I don't know
You
the
build that
answer,
network, right?
yep. If I don't know the answer,
Yeah.
we'll get you the answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of goes through your head when you're posting at least once a day, but sometimes 2-3 times a day? Are you doing the whole creative process of like beginning, middle, and end of a story? Like, is that the thought? Are you just thinking this is a cool video? It would go good with this video and it would go good. This is the song that's kind of going on social media right now. Are you just slapping videos together and posting them and some are hitting and some are missing, or you're getting comments on everything now?
In the beginning, that's how it was. You're just slapping them together. Listen, I'm learning just like everybody else. I'm not like a specialist on. I edit all my stuff on Instagram. I don't edit anything on the computer. Everything is made right on Instagram or screen recording or just tricks on the iPhone. But just really progressing with it, and sometimes I'll make videos that I enjoy, and like those will be longer ones where I'm trying to tell a story, and those ones don't hit as hard.
Right.
I feel to make content, you have to consume a little bit of content. And as I'm consuming, if I hear something that I like, if I hear audio that like strikes at me, then I save it.
Yeah.
Or if I'm at home and I have time, my kids are in bed, if I'm not on the computer, then I make a lot of my reels at night when I'm sitting here alone. If I'm not recording for anything, then I'll be and I have like probably 15 drafts that I could just coffee break with 2 clicks. I can post a video that I already have all the details written.
So and you guys are also like, I don't even think we've mentioned it yet, but you're also 50% of the Dope and Tape show, which there's a lot of really good podcasts out there. The fitter side of me absolutely loves what you guys are doing with that. It's hard to tune in every week, but you have some guys on there that tune in every week, 9:00 Tuesday, Thursdays, and participate in your show. And that's a thing that an aspect of social media and posting and stuff like that I never really considered doing the lives where people can interact with you. Did you guys have any concerns going into theirs? Like, oh shit, we're going to go live with this. Nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to watch. Cause that's always, even now when I'm posting stuff, I get a lot of views every day and a lot of downloads every day, but every time I post a video, I'm like, oh man, nobody's going to like this stuff. Why are people even listening to it?
They're going to like it. We're going to listen.
It's a different type of anxiety to me when you're doing a live show.
Live on the air.
That's it.
Careful what you say. So I'll be honest with you. It started live because I didn't know how to edit. So we originally, I'm going to be straightforward. Brian and I did a Zoom and we recorded it. And then I was going to edit it and I was going to make it cool. And we were going to, do a normal edit and post. And I'm like, bro, I can't figure it out. But I did do some video game streaming and I think that I could stream a Zoom live. And people on Twitch could comment. And then I was like, I could also link YouTube. So then we just went on a whim and we did it. And a couple people joined and they comment. And I figured out how to get the comments on the screen.
Still here.
I figured out how to. It was just a lot of, and I'm still figuring stuff out.
Sure.
I want to get like music for an intro. I just haven't figured it out yet, and I'm still trying to time when it starts. If you watch the show, and you start it, like it's usually. Yeah. We might already been talking for 5 seconds because this thing will sell me on live, but we're really not.
I've noticed. Yeah.
It's a learning process. It's a learning process, man. And I don't know everything.
I'm enjoying what I like is you guys are posting regularly every week. You guys have 2 episodes come up, And you guys are catching up to me so fast. You're going to pass me in the next year. You're going to. I'm pumping out. Once I started, all right. So now we're gonna get real here, Bobby.
Episode 50 is going to be on the 60th, on the 16th. Episode
Who do you-
50 is on the 16th of May.
You got somebody special for the 50th?
We're going to bring Brian's dad.
Ah, cool. Right
Brian's
on.
Brian's a second generation sprinkler fitter.
Oh, right on. That's cool. Is he going to come on live? Is he going to be sitting with Brian, or is he going to call in?
That's a good question. I'd say he's probably going to be, I don't know. It'd be cool if they were together.
Yeah.
Side by each. He'll probably just zoom in on his phone or his device or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. That's what I'm trying to, I'm working out the logistics now. I'm 3 weeks away, because once I started seeing you guys posting your stuff consistently, I was like, no, can't do this. I'm a competitive guy. I grew up playing hockey and lacrosse and fighting. So I'm like,
go.
these guys are going to do I got to step up my game a little bit here now, right? Like, it started out with me and Drew. We're the fire protection podcast, like the fire protection podcast, and I was the fire sprinkler podcast. Gus Gagliardo came out with Fire Code Tech. I'm blanking on his name, from the fire science show over in Europe. There's a handful of fire protection based podcasts now. And every time somebody else comes up with a new one, I'm like, gotta step up my game, gotta do something a little bit different here. We got to keep things going. You don't want to get lost in the weeds, right? If I wasn't the first one. NFPA was still the first fire protection based podcast. But I like to think I passed them quick, and then they started doing theirs, more consistently after I did.
You're the
right?
OG,
So-
man. Right when we started, we heard about you. People
that's
would
cool.
tell us about you, We were doing
It's-
3 episodes a week at first, and it was and I work and I got a family and my kid plays hockey, and like that was weighing on us. And what day was it? Like Mondays weren't popular. When Mondays the viewers were down, the comments were down. So we're like, we're just gonna drop Monday. Just do 2 a week. Tuesday, Thursday. It's open tape. 9
That's
p.m.
healthy.
Eastern.
That's a good
Yeah.
amount.
It is.
It is. That's a good amount, because I do very little editing as well. I'll take basically one Saturday a month where I do, I'll make new ads. I'll do, quick videos at the beginning for the laying it down for Camp Bucko fundraiser that I'm doing right now. But for the most part, I edit my episodes Sunday morning and release them Sunday afternoon, right? Sometimes it's Sunday evening, but I've been consistently since the beginning of February putting an episode out every Sunday. There's a little bit more involved, like it's not just streaming, which is, I won't say just streaming. That sounded kind of came off like a dick there, but
it's easier. There's no editing, and YouTube
Yeah.
saves it. And it's there. Just whatever you say is going on there. I'm not editing it out. So
yeah, no, 100%. Just a little intro music, or just your detail at the beginning of it, it just goes a long way with production value, right?
for sure, I got to
Yeah.
figure out how to like run something. I got to figure out when it's live, and then figure out how to like run a 10-second thing, and then we pop on.
Well, as a guest who's been on twice, you start the conversation very quick. Like when we come on, and normally what I do is we come on the podcast, we talk for 5-10 minutes, we get our conversational timing down, and then I'm going to hit record, and then we start the podcast. With you guys, you get on and we're just immediately talking shop. So it's
Bam.
hard to say, hey, we got to go live at 9:00, click. And then you're in the middle of a sentence, and then you just hold up your fingers like this. And then it's like, oh, we're live now. And you're like, I didn't finish my story. The last
Yeah.
time I was on, we were talking about how you guys are all, all packed up when you guys are going on to service calls and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah.
You're right in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking. Yeah. Big 2A supporters down here in America.
awesome.
Uh,
Well, Bobby, this has been an awesome. I appreciate everything you're doing on social media right now. Hopefully we can get some more people following you guys, following the Dope and Tape Show, and getting some of these companies out there to get involved with the Dope and Tape Show so they can start showing you some of these new products. This industry is a very fast evolving industry. I think what you're doing with social media is kind of the next step in the industry in providing education and providing information to fitters and guys out there. That's kind of the next generation thing, is social media. So I like what you're doing. Thank you for doing everything you're doing, man. And thanks for coming on the Fire Sprinkler podcast and talking about it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all your supporting us and introducing me to people like Chris from Victaulic, who sent me some stuff. I love your
Yeah,
Boston Fire
absolutely.
shirt you got on, representing. That's great.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of eyes on my Instagram page. So if there's any new products and you want sprinkler fitters to see it, I'm be more than happy to share it.
Awesome. Thanks again. The Dope and Tape Show, Bluecollarbobby on social media. Find him, check him out. Thanks for coming on the Fire Sprinkler podcast.
Appreciate it. Thank you.